The night Ghost died, or so we thought. Tommy's life changed forever. Asterisk one moment, he was on the streets of New York, building an empire with his brother. The next, he was standing over a grave, convinced that the only man he'd ever truly trusted was gone. But what if that grave was empty? What if everything we thought we knew was a lie? And what if Ghost is still out there? Some asterisk Tommy Egan and James Ghost St. Patrick were more than business partners. They were brothers in every way except blood. From the corners of Queens to the highest penthouses in Manhattan, they built their drug empire together, moving like a well-oiled machine. Ghost had the vision, the brain to turn street hustle into big business. Tommy had the muscle, the fearlessness to do what needed to be done when the bullets started flying. Asterisk, but power comes with a price. Asterisk over the years. Their bond was tested by money, by ambition, by betrayal. Ghost wanted out of the game, chasing the dream of going legit. Tommy, he couldn't see a life beyond the streets. The tension between them grew, and their friendship began to crack. Still, no matter how much they fought, no matter how deep the wounds, there was always a piece of Tommy that believed Ghost would have his back. Asterisk then came that night. Asterisk Ghost was shot inside his own nightclub, Truth. The news spread fast. The kingpin of New York was gone, and the streets would never be the same. For Tommy, it was like losing a part of himself. He'd lost friends before, but this was different. This was Ghost, the man who'd pulled him out of nothing and taught him how to survive. Asterisk we watched Tommy unravel, lashing out, making reckless moves, burning every bridge that reminded him of New York, with his empire crumbling and enemies circling like vultures. Tommy made the only choice he could. He left. Chicago became his new hunting ground, his new empire in the making. But the ghosts of his past, the real and the metaphorical, never stopped haunting him. Asterisk every gun deal, every late night drive, every look over his shoulder, Tommy carried Ghost's shadow with him. There were moments when you could see it in his eyes, regret, guilt, and maybe, just maybe, a sliver of hope that he could have done something different. Asterisk in Power Book 4, Force, Tommy carved out a name for himself in a city that didn't know him yet. But no matter how far he ran, the streets of New York were always calling. And with them came whispers, quiet, dangerous whispers, that maybe Ghost's story wasn't over. Whispers that would light a fire in Tommy's mind and set the stage for the biggest twist of his life. Asterisk because in the world of power, the dead don't always stay dead. And sometimes. These the most Chicago had given Tommy a fresh start, or at least as close to one as a man like him could get. Asterisk he'd built new connections, made new enemies, and turned the streets into his personal chessboard. But in the game Tommy plays, you can't win without keeping one eye on the past. And lately, the past had been talking. Asterisk it started small. A conversation overheard in a bar. Two guys, speaking low, swapping stories about a man who fit a very specific description. Tall, smooth voice, sharp suits. A way of walking that said he'd been in charge his whole life. Tommy didn't pay much attention at first. Chicago was full of hustlers. But the words stuck in his head. Asterisk then came the photos. Asterisk not sent to him directly. No, whoever was behind this was smarter than that. They came through a friend of. A friend, grainy images passed around like street currency. In each one, the man's face was turned away, hidden by shadows or a hat pulled low. But the stance, the presence. Tommy couldn't shake the feeling he'd seen it before. Asterisk, and then there was the name. Asterisk it wasn't Ghost. Not in the photos, not in the whispers. Instead, people were talking about a man called James, someone who'd stepped into certain New York corners without fear. Someone who moved with the kind of confidence you only get from surviving the impossible. Asterisk Tommy started putting the pieces together. Asterisk every story had the same beats. A man from out of town, never seen arriving, never seen leaving, always in control, always 3 steps ahead. The kind of man who could walk into a room full of killers and leave without a scratch. That wasn't just familiar, that was personal. Asterisk the thing about rumors in the streets. Asterisk they don't just appear out of nowhere. Someone starts them for a reason. Maybe to draw someone out, maybe to stir the pot, or maybe to test the waters. Before making a move, Tommy had been around long enough to know that whispers could be more dangerous than bullets. Because a whisper could get inside your head. Asterisk, and it was working. Asterisk every night. Tommy found himself thinking about the same thing. If Ghost was alive, why hadn't he reached out? Why had he let Tommy think he was gone? And maybe the most dangerous question of all. If Ghost had faked his death, who else knew? Asterisk Tommy had been through enough betrayals to know that trust could turn to poison fast. The idea that Ghost might still be walking around, living, breathing, plotting, it didn't just shake him. It lit a fuse because for Tommy, there was no middle ground. If Ghost was alive, they were either brothers again, or they were going toward asterisk the rumors kept coming, each one sharper than the last, a meeting in a private club in Queens. A deal going down in the Bronx that was too clean to be street level. A sighting in Miami of a man who looked exactly like Ghost, except older, harder, and more dangerous. Asterisk Tommy knew this wasn't coincidence. Someone was sending a message. Asterisk the only question was it Ghost himself, or was someone playing the deadliest game of all, using Ghost's name as bait? Asterisk one thing was certain. If the rumors were true, Tommy's world was about to change again. Asterisk, and this time, the ghost he'd been chasing might not be the one he remembered. Asterisk it happened. On a night Tommy would never forget. Asterisk Chicago was quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that makes a man like him uneasy. He was sitting in his car, engine running, cigarette smoke curling through the air, waiting on a drop that was already 30 minutes late. That's when his phone lit up. No name, just a number he didn't recognize. Asterisk he almost ignored it. Almost. Asterisk, but something about the number felt wrong. Or maybe it was the timing. Tommy answered. Asterisk at first, nothing. Just the faint hiss of a bad connection. Then, a voice. Low, steady, familiar in a way that made his stomach twist. Asterisk greater than you're looking. In the wrong city, Tommy. Asterisk the call ended before he could speak. No trace, no callback, nothing. But Tommy knew that voice. He'd heard it in every backroom deal, every heated argument, every moment when the world felt like it was theirs. Ghost, asterisk still, a voice wasn't. Proof, asterisk it could be a trick, a recording, someone trying to get under his skin. But Tommy's instincts wouldn't let it go. He started digging, calling in favors from people who owed him and some who hated him enough to charge double. Piece by piece, he built a trail that pointed back to New York. Asterisk, that's when the video arrived. Asterisk, no message, no explanation. Just a file in his inbox from an encrypted sender. The footage was grainy, shot from a distance, like the person holding the camera was scared to get too close. A street in Queens, nighttime, wet pavement, reflecting the glow of streetlights. Asterisk a black SUV pulls up. The driver steps out, tall, broad shoulders, expensive coat. His face is hidden under the brim of a hat. He checks the street, then walks toward a building. But as he passes under the light, the camera catches it just for a second. The scar above the eyebrow, the way his jaw tenses before he speaks to someone at the door. Asterisk, Tommy froze. That wasn't someone. That was Ghost. Asterisk, and if Tommy knew one thing about Ghost, it was that he didn't show his face unless he wanted to be seen. Which meant this wasn't just a sighting, it was a message. Asterisk for days, Tommy couldn't think straight. His crew noticed. His deal started slipping. Chicago suddenly felt too small, too cold. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw that second of footage, the scar, the face, the man he'd buried in his mind years ago. Asterisk questions piled up like bodies. Why come back now? Why stay hidden? Why let Tommy find out this way? The only answer that made sense was the one Tommy didn't want to admit. Ghost was moving pieces on a board Tommy couldn't even see yet. Asterisk, and if Ghost was alive, that meant everything had changed. Asterisk, because in their world, there's no such thing as coincidence. There's only strategy. And Ghost's strategy had just put Tommy back in the game, whether he liked it or not. Asterisk, Tommy didn't sleep that night. Asterisk, by sunrise, he was packing a bag, loading his gun, and heading east. Chicago could wait. New York had Ghosts to chase. Asterisk. If Ghost is alive, everything we thought we knew about Power Book 4 force changes in an instant. Asterisk, Tommy's empire in Chicago. The alliances, the rivalries, the delicate balance he's been building. All of it could be flipped upside down overnight. Because Ghost's return wouldn't just be about survival. It would be about control. And Ghost has never played for second place. Asterisk, the first possibility, reunion. Asterisk, it's easy to imagine Tommy and Ghost side by side again. The way they used to be in New York, two kings running two cities, connected by loyalty, bloodshed, and history. Together, they'd be unstoppable. Ghost with his strategic mind, Tommy with his raw power. Chicago's crews wouldn't stand a chance, and even the New York underworld would tremble. Asterisk, but there's a darker version of that story, war. Asterisk, because Tommy isn't the same man Ghost left behind. He's a boss now, not an enforcer. And Ghost doesn't share power. If he's been alive this whole time, watching Tommy fight and bleed to build something for himself, what happens when he decides he wants a piece of it? Brothers could become enemies overnight, their history turning into fuel for the most dangerous turf war either of them has ever faced. Asterisk, then there's the fallout. Asterisk, Ghost's survival wouldn't just affect Tommy, it would send shockwaves through every corner of the power universe. Think about it. Tariq, still carrying the weight of what happened at Truth. Tasha, living under a cloud of secrecy. The Tayadas in New York, holding power Ghost might want back. Every character who's built their story on the fact that Ghost was gone would have to face the reality that he's not only alive, but moving in the shadows. Asterisk, we could see alliances nobody expected. Asterisk, enemies forced to work together because Ghost's return threatens everyone's plans. Tommy might even have to team up with people he hates, maybe even people responsible for trying to kill Ghost in the first place. Asterisk, and then there's the personal side. Asterisk, Tommy's trust has been broken too many times to count. If Ghost faked his death, that's a betrayal on a level Tommy's never faced before. The question wouldn't just be, is Ghost alive? It would be, can Tommy ever forgive him? Or worse, does Tommy even want to? Asterisk, imagine the tension. A season where every meeting, every conversation, every move is layered with doubt. One wrong decision could mean the end for either man. And in power, trust isn't given, it's taken, earned, and sometimes destroyed. Asterisk, and let's not forget the outsiders. Asterisk, Chicago's players won't just sit back and watch to New York legends take over their city. Ghost's return would put a target on Tommy's back bigger than ever before. Rivals might see this as their chance to take him out for good, not realizing that killing Tommy could mean bringing down the full force of Ghost's revenge. Asterisk, every path leads to chaos. Asterisk, whether they unite or collide, Tommy and Ghost together in Season 3 means one thing: the game will never be the same. And the streets, they'll be watching, waiting, and choosing sides. Asterisk, because in this world, power doesn't just shift. Asterisk, it explodes. Asterisk, if Ghost really is alive in Power Book 4 for Season 3, then his return won't happen in a vacuum. The streets talk, and when a name like Ghost comes back into circulation, it draws people out of the shadows, friends, enemies, and everyone in between. Asterisk, first, there's Tariq St. Patrick. Asterisk, Ghost's own son, the man many believe pulled the trigger that ended his father's life. If Tariq finds out Ghost is alive, the fallout could be explosive. Would he see it as a second chance, or as proof that his father had been playing him all along? In Tariq's world, trust is a currency, and right now, Ghost's survival would bankrupt it. Asterisk then there's Tasha. Asterisk she's been running, hiding, and living under assumed identities to protect herself and her family. If she learns Ghost is back, it could shatter the fragile stability she's built. She might want answers. She might want revenge. Or, in true power fashion, she might see an opportunity to use Ghost's return to her advantage. Asterisk, and we can't forget Kate Egan, Tommy's mother. Asterisk Kate has always had a soft spot for Ghost, even when Tommy didn't. If she hears Ghost is alive, she want to see him. But with Kate, every reunion comes with complications. She could be a bridge between Tommy and Ghost, or the very thing that pushes them further apart. Asterisk from the Power Book 2, Ghost side, we might also see Brayden Weston. Asterisk Brayden's already tangled deep in New York's drug game with Tariq, but Ghost's return could drag him into a war he's not ready for. His loyalty to Tariq might put him in direct conflict with Ghost, and that could be deadly. Asterisk, and then there are the wild cards. Asterisk people like 2-Bit, who's always managed to stay alive by being 2 steps ahead. If Ghost is back, 2-Bit could either join his side or try to profit off the chaos. Councilman Tate might also play a role. Ghost's reappearance could shake up the political power structure in ways that benefit him or destroy him. Asterisk in Chicago, we'd see reactions from Tommy's crew. Diamond Sampson, Jennard Sampson, Claudia Flynn, and Walter Flynn if he's still in play. Ghost stepping into Chicago's scene would put these players in a tight spot. They'd have to choose between siding with Tommy or risking their own empires by standing against the combined force of 2 legends. Asterisk, but perhaps the most dangerous return could come from old enemies, people like Kanan's old associates, or figures from Ghost's past who've been waiting for a moment of weakness. Ghost's survival could be the bait that lures them all into one place, setting the stage for the kind of bloodbath Power is famous for. Asterisk Season 3 could become a collision point, old storylines crashing into new ones, with Ghost's return as the spark. Every returning character would bring history, grudges, and unfinished business. Some would want to protect him. Some would want to kill him, and some would want to use him to take down Tommy. Asterisk because in this universe, a man like Ghost doesn't just come back to live quietly. His return means war, deals, betrayals, and power plays on a scale we haven't seen since the original Power. Asterisk and no matter who walks back onto the screen, one thing is certain. Asterisk when Ghost moves, the whole board changes. Asterisk so here we are. Asterisk Tommy Egan, a man who buried his brother, built a new empire, and swore to never look back, is now staring down the impossible. James St. Patrick, Ghost, the legend of New York, the man everyone thought was dead. Asterisk if Ghost is truly alive, Season 3 of Power Book 4, Force won't just be another chapter. It'll be a turning point, the kind of twist that makes every deal, every betrayal, every shot fired in the Power universe feel like it's been leading to this moment. Asterisk think about it. Asterisk Tommy's enemies in Chicago won't understand what's coming. Ghost's old rivals in New York will feel the ground shift under their feet. And the people who thought they'd escaped Ghost's shadow, they'll realize they've been standing in it the whole time. Asterisk this isn't just about a man coming back from the dead. Asterisk it's about unfinished business. Every lie, every secret, every alliance Ghost left behind will be dragged into the light. Tommy will be forced to face the truth, not just about Ghost, but about himself, about the choices he made, about the loyalty he lost, and about whether blood truly means loyalty, or if it's just another weakness to be exploited. Asterisk Season 3 could give us everything we've been waiting for. Asterisk Tommy and Ghost, standing side by side again, or face to face as enemies. Asterisk Tariq caught in the crossfire between the father he shot and the uncle he trusts. Asterisk Chicago's underworld colliding with New York's, forcing players to choose sides in a war nobody can afford to lose. Asterisk, but the real question is, what's Ghost's endgame? Asterisk you don't fake your death, disappear for years, and return without a plan. Ghost has always been a strategist, moving pieces on the board while everyone else was just learning the rules. If he's back, it's because he wants something. And when Ghost wants something, he gets it, no matter who has to fall. Asterisk so as the streets whisper his name again, and as Tommy's path crosses with a ghost from his past, one thing is certain. Asterisk, nothing will be the same. Not for Chicago. Not for New York. Not for anyone. Asterisk because in the Power universe, the dead never really stay dead. Asterisk and sometimes the most dangerous thing in the world isn't the man pointing a gun at you. Asterisk, it's the man you thought you buried standing right in front of you, smiling. Asterisk.